Well, this is Dan Smith again, and we're going to wrap up just a really fun series. I hope it's useful to you, even if you never go on a mission trip, these few spotlights on mission and serving. I want to talk about what it means to have a servant heart. I was in the seminary where I had to take a personality test, what they call a 16 PF. And when we got our results back, I'm with this professor, and I had they called it a high narcissism score. And I said, what is narcissism? I never heard of the word. Well, it means kind of focused on yourself. You're easy on yourself. He said if you spill a cup of milk, you hope someone else will clean it up. You don't want to clean it up. It comes from a Greek god myth story about someone looking at a mirror in the water and all of that. I said, what do you do to get rid of that or to soften that? And he said, serve, learn to serve, practice serving. So I began to try to serve. So now when there's something to clean up, I want to be the one to help clean it up. If I see trash almost anywhere, I will do the best I can to try to pick it up, put it somewhere. When it comes time to putting chairs away, that's just what we do. Last night we went to a Sweet 16 party, and it wasn't our party. We're not in charge, but people needed help, so Hilda and I stayed. Hilda's helping. I better help. So we poured food into bags. You help. You put chairs away. I have started putting the chairs away to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of church potlucks and weddings and programs. When I start serving, then people begin to serve, and in a few minutes it's all done. And I began to go on mission trips. And I don't just go because I want to preach the gospel. I need to get out there in the mud and the dirt and mix cement and serve. I helped my brother with building his house. I'm not a builder. I don't know anything. But for months, I drove down one day a week and get in the car and drive down. I know I need to do it. God is using that to help keep these other self-demons at bay, to have a life of service. So we're out here painting the fence in the hot sun at the school in Chiang Mai. We're smoothing out the dirt in front of the church where we built the church in honor of my father. And they left these huge mounds of dirt, and we had to flatten them all out to make the front yard. And it's all rain and it's mud. And you couldn't throw the mud. You had to walk over there and push it off your shovel and then it was hard work. But it's done, and the church is beautiful today. So I just want to talk about having a servant heart. Jesus is the ultimate servant. Came down and said, I don't want you to argue about who was the greatest of all. The greatest of all is the one who was the servant of all. He who loses his life will find it. And then Jesus shows us by taking the towel over his arm and taking his shirt off and kneels down and he serves. Came to be a ransom, service. Dies on a cross. Charles Swindoll tells a story of going canoeing up in Oregon, the Rogue River, where I have been. And he says that there was a bunch of canoes there, and some were old and some were brand new. So just before the prayer, he whispered to his son, just kind of move over towards where the new canoes were. So as soon as they said, okay, choose your canoe, Swindoll and his son got one of the new ones. And then he looked at his heart and said, what happened to you? Bill Hybels tells a story of being in a coffee shop working on a sermon, just in frantic mode, and got sermon on Wednesday and Thursday night, another sermon for the weekend, preaching 8 or 10 times every weekend and trying to run a big church, just overwhelmed. Finally, he realized he had to leave the coffee shop and jumps up, gotta go. And there's a guy in a wheelchair leaving the coffee shop. And he's slow getting out of the door. And Bill Hybels felt himself say, come on, dude, come on. He didn't say it, just thought it. Got into the car and looked at himself and he said, what is wrong with you? You used to have a big heart, a soft heart. You had a heart for the poor and heart for suffering, and now look at you. So we have to think about that. Where do you get a soft heart, a servant heart? Obviously, it starts with Jesus. The more we look at the cross and God serving, we begin to be more servant. The cross story softens our heart, softens mine. Being around other servants, seeing that model, disciples saw Jesus giving, they became giving. They walked all over the world. They believe St. Thomas walked all the way over to India. I've been to St. Thomas Mountain, serving, barefoot, on sandals, serving, walking. So the more you're around other people who are serving, serving begins to rub off on you. The more you do it, the more it becomes part of who you are. The more mission trips I've done, the more that just becomes who we are. We took our boys over there. We spent thousands of dollars wanting our boys to have a servant heart. So when it comes time to serve, okay, we're the ones. We would go to concerts and no one's there to put the chairs away. I said, boys, the Smith boys and the Smith family are always going to be the ones that put the chairs away. Now they're doing it too. Yeah. So may God bless you as you pray, have a servant heart. You will more than get the thanks from Jesus who says, well done. And you never are closer to God than when you're serving, because God is a servant. And your heart will be there with God. God bless you. This is Spotlight. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.